G'day guys and welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out one of my favorite colors from the One Piece TCG, which is green. So we're going to be looking at Eustass Captain Kid. So this is a list that I've been playing around with for a while. Has generally fairly good matchups into most decks out there. Obviously, same thing with all decks. If you don't see the pieces, you're going to struggle. But green has access to a few searches, which can make the deck a little bit more consistent. But let's have a look at the deck. And if you do like the profile today, make sure you give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece stuff coming your way, and let us know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like. Always great to hear some feedback. We can bounce some ideas off of each other. But let's stop talking and let's get right into the deck profile. Okay, starting off, we're going to have a look at our wonderful super pre-release Eustass Captain Kid. So leader, 5,000, 5 life, mono green, and the effect is once per turn, you can rest 3 Don, trash a card from your hand to set this leader as active. So a great way just to get another attack in. Usually really good just to wipe some characters off board, go for extra swing for game. That's a very viable strategy, stacking him with a bunch of Don, leaving yourself with 3 just to restand and swing again at the end. So yeah, that bit of aggression can be really, really nice. But as I said, can also be used for a bit of board control. Starting off with our 1-cost characters, we are running 4 of the blocker. I think it's Beige. Actually have no idea. We'll just call him Gang because that's probably the only name in there I'll actually be able to pronounce correctly. But running 4 1-cost blockers in there. Super handy just to get out there, protect your life. Also protect your big 8-cost kid when you get him out there as well. So yeah, super handy. Doesn't have a counter though, so keep that in mind. So better to get him out in play rather than have him clogging up your hand. The next 1-cost, we are running one of the best cards in the deck. We are running 4 Jewelry Bonnie. So Bonnie is a 1-cost 1,000 body, a 1k counter, super good. But the main effect is the search effect. So you can rest 1 Don and rest this card. To look at the top 5 cards of your deck, you can reveal a Supernova card, so that's character or event, and add it to your hand, and then place the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. So great way to find a majority of cards in the deck, which is why we are running 4. Great to search those kids, search those events that we're needing, search other characters that will be key for your matchups. The other searcher that we are running just 3 of the Kawazuki Momo. 1-cost 1,000 counter, no power with this one right here, but the main effect is exactly the same as Bonnie's. You have to rest a Don and rest this card to look at the top 5, but instead of adding Supernovas, you're adding Wano. So Wanos, we're running less of them in the deck, which is why we're only running 3, but it helps you find those things that are really good for ball control or some of your 2k counters, like your Nekomamushi, Okiku, Izo. Those sorts of things are really good. And Waterfall Paradise is also a Wano event, so that's something else that can be added off Momo right there. Next up for our 2-costs, we are running 4 of the blocker killer. So 2-cost 2,000 body, 1,000 counter blocker, and then the effect is a Don times 1 on block. If we have 3 or more characters, we can draw a card. So a great way just to replenish that hand, find those cards that we are needing, but it also being a counter makes it live, whether it's in our hand or out on the field. The next 2 costs we are running 4 of the Catman Nekomamushi himself. 2-cost 3k body, 1k counter, and on play is super valuable, especially in this meta. Rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. So that's resting all the little blockers, resting a lot of the removal characters as well. So it allows you to control the board really nicely. Play this, you can even play this on your second turn. So play that, you swing over whatever they have out with your leader. So yeah, super great to control the board. You can also reuse this with the blocker law, which we'll talk about later. Allows you to bounce a card back and then play something. So you can bounce the same thing back, play the same thing out. So you can recycle Nekomamushi like that. And then the last of the 2 drops that we are running 4 Scratchman Apu. So 2-cost 3,000 body, 2k counter, which is its main use here in this deck. The effect is Don times 1 when attacking. You can rest one of your opponent's Don cards. Don't really ever use that effect. mainly use it as a 2k counter, searchable off your jewelry Bonnie as well. Moving on to our 3 cost, and while we're talking about 2k counters, let's have a talk about Ezo. So Ezo is a 3k body 2k counter, mainly used for that 2k counter effect, but its on play is way more usable than Scratchman's. So on play, we can rest one of our opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So just like your Nekomamushi, but you're resting something with 1 higher cost for that 1 extra Don as well. But yeah, great way to control the board, rest blockers that you need to rest to be able to swing for game or swing over bigger characters. Also, just rest something small, clear it, so you're maintaining really good board control. The other board control character that we are running is Okiku. So 3 cost 5k body, so sometimes just good to have a 5k body out there for cheap. But the effect is Don ×1 when attacking once per turn, rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So yeah, really good to, or again, control your opponent's board. Resting 5 or less will hit most blockers in the game. There's a couple that it won't hit, especially in the mirror match there. But both Okiku and Ezo are searchable off Momo. Next up for our 3 drops, we are running 2 Killer. Killer is really good because it is a removal. So 3k body, 1k counter, on play, KO one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 3 or less. So really great form of removal. It does have the trigger to play this card, so if it's hit in life, we can also get some good board removal there. Searchable off your Bonnie as well. Killer's kind of hit and miss in some green Eustace lists that I've seen out there, but I find him super valuable. Just that cheap removal is really, really nice. Then the last of the 3 cost characters that we are running, one of the promo Eustace Captain Kid. So 3 cost, 4,000 body, 1,000 counter. Effect is Don ×2. This character gains double attack. So that double attack pressure, which we're always going to have when we're swinging at 6k, is really good to just apply some really good pressure on your opponent. Most of the time, it kind of ends up being removal bait, which I'm not complaining about. Allows me to make sure my bigger guys are protected, especially my bigger kids. But if it does live sticking, you're applying some great pressure, they're definitely going to try and block it or use counters to stop the 2 life from being taken. You can also swap this out for a Yamato, which we are running, which has the same kind of double attack. Costs a bit more, but we'll talk about more of that when we get to that card. All right, moving on to our 5 cost characters. First of all, we are running 2 of the OP1 lore. So 5 costs 6,000 body blocker. On play, we can return 1 character to our hand, then play 1 character with a cost of 3 or less. Now, there are a couple of really good combos that you can make with lore with that effect. So you can bounce back your Bonnies to play her out again and then get another search. So as I said before, you can bounce back a character and then play the exact same character you bounce back. So if you used a Bonnie, you can play that, bounce it back, play it again, get the search off again if you have enough Don available. You can also reuse your Nekomamushis. So you can bounce something to play this for free, or you can bounce it, play it again to rest 2 things. You can also reuse your killer, so you can kill multiple things in one go as well. You can also use that to play out your Ezo for free as well, rest something that's a bit bigger. And a great play as well to pull off with lore is to play out the Okiko for really cheap. So you're playing 8 cost worth of characters just for 5 Don here. And Okiko, if it sticks, apply some great pressure on your opponent, making sure that we can rest and swing over characters that they play out. Next up, we are running 2 OP1 X Drake. So 5 cost 6,000 body, 1k counter. On play, KO one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less. So this play does come up every now and then. It's not super common, which is why we're only running 2 of it, and it is a 5 cost to KO a 4 cost character, so sometimes it does seem a bit expensive, but sometimes it is really beneficial. So it is better against those decks that have lots of smaller characters, so like your reds, your greens. So getting rid of those nasty searches or those blockers does get rid of those nasty searches mainly, or those little cards that have effects that add on, or whatever it may be. Next up, we are running 2 Basil Hawkins. So Basil, same stats as the rest of them, except this one doesn't have a counter, just like Law. But the effect is Don ×1, once per turn. On your turn, if this character battles your opponent's character, set this card as active. So this is really good to control the board. So you can clear multiple characters, you can clear 2 characters, you can clear a character, then swing at life. And this Basil I find really beneficial against those boards that like to go wide and they're using resting effects. So in the mirror match it's good, against Law it's good, even against red I find that it's quite good. Not so great into like purple, sometimes blue, depending on how wide blue goes and if they have a bunch of things rested. But yeah, can really good at controlling the board with Basil. The last 5 costs that we are running 1 of the Yamato secret rare from OP1. So 5 cost, 5,000 body, 1k counter, has double attack naturally, and has banish. So we're always going to be swinging, if it goes through, 2 hits at our opponent's life, but then instead of those lives being added to the hand because of the banish effect, it just goes straight to trash. So super valuable that way. You can, as I said before, if you don't want to run the promo kid, you can bump this up to 2. You also can remove both the promo and this Yamato to run maybe something like another Law or one of your bigger kids, but both the Law and the bigger kids, they don't have counters, whereas both the Yamato and the promo kid do. So I'm just trying to find a good balance with counters and cards that are super valuable. But it is searchable off Momo, and the promo kit is searchable off Jewelry Bonnie. So great ways to find those extra counters or those extra pressure with those extra attacks. All right, moving on to the big boys. We got 2 of the starter deck kid, 7 cost, 7,000 power. No counter, is a blocker, which is nasty. And the effect is we can attach 1 Don. And then at the end of the turn, we can set this guy to active. So basically we can attach, swing for 8k at something, and it restands, and we have the 7k blocker for our opponent's turn. And you can get some good plays with multiple blocks with things like your Waterfall Paradise, which allows you to restand something that has been rested when you activate that event. So yeah, super cool. Yeah, great way to apply some pressure, big blocker, really nice. The next big boy that we are running 2 of the 8 cost kits. So 8,000 body, no counter. A few effects that are going on here. So when you have 1 Don attached during our opponent's turn, if this character is arrested, they can only attack this guy here. So they're forced into attacking Eustace Kid right there. And then the other effect is we can, which is activate main once per turn. You may rest this character to play a character with a cost of 3 or less from our hand. So we can use that to play out any of our smaller blockers to help protect him. We can use that to play out things like Nekomamushi, so we can rest something so we can swing over with something else. But yeah, great way just to get the board a bit wider, and especially a great way to get some extra protection onto Kid. So the longer we can keep Kid alive, the better for us, especially if you're in a bit of a sticky situation. This card has come up multiple times to get me out of sticky situations, and I end up winning the game. So yeah, MVP right there. That's probably the only Kid that I consider bumping up. Happy with 2 with the starter deck Kid, but the redirect Kid is definitely one that you can bump up. Right, moving on to our events, we are running 3 of the Paradise Waterfall. So a 1 cost counter. Your leader, one of your characters, gains 2,000 power for this battle. Then you can set one of your characters as active. So as I was talking about before, you can get some good multiple blocks with your bigger Kid blocker, maybe with the smaller ones depending on what they attack with, but usually that's the one that you want to restand. You can also restand characters that you just want to save from being attacked if you have multiple rested and you don't have the big magnet Kid out there. And the trigger is we can KO one of our opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less, which does come up quite a bit as well. So great event card, whether it's used from your hand or from life. It is also a Wano card, so it is searchable off Momo. The last 3 cards in our deck, we are running 3 Punk Gibson. So 2 cost counter. Your leader or one of your characters gains 4,000 power for the battle, then rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So yeah, great way to get a buff and then rest something. So can stop 2 attacks with 1 card, which is super great. Only costs you 2 Don as well, which is absolutely wild. And the trigger is we can rest one of our opponent's characters. There's no other requirements there. We can rest literally anything when this is checked in life, which can be really good. So green, yeah, definitely has a lot of like board control stuff going on with some options and characters, and you can also get some good aggression with the leader and with the Promo Kid and the Yamato that chip in for those extra life checks. And that's the deck there in its entirety. So let us know what you guys thought of the deck profile. Have you been playing some green? Are you going to try it out? Let us know. But thank you so much for checking out today's video. Stay tuned for some more. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.